So today's target is going to be 250 pull-ups. I'm going to stick with the 7.5 kilogram weight for today's challenge. That is going to be my focus for today. 250 rings dips, that's the target also for today, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the weight to 5 kilograms. Now that's technically doubling that weight. I don't know what the impact is going to be, but I feel like I can go to that stage. It's something that I'm going to try out. It wasn't part of the plan. I'm not a big advocate of changing too many things so soon, but I'm going to try that today because I feel like I can push myself. And remember, the whole point about personal challenge projects such as the March Pull Push Road Challenge in 2024 is that I can set targets to achieve, but how I get there, how Phil achieves this challenge is up to him. And I feel like right now, in order to make it more physically and mentally challenging, I want to double up on that weight and I want to see how we get on. You will see how that progresses. Listen, if it doesn't work and it impacts any of the other exercises in a negative way, then I'm going to know about that and I'm going to feel that. So it goes the pull-ups first, then the rings dips, and then onto the meters road. But my thought process behind increasing the weight is this. If I keep the 7.5 kilogram as the additional weight for the pull-ups, if I, which is the pull exercise, increase it for the push exercise, then when I come on to the meters road, which is essentially a pull exercise, I'm not straining too much on the pull from the pull-ups by changing the additional weight. That's the logic behind it, but I'm pushing this more on the rings dips. I want to have that impact. Let's see whether it's a negative or a positive. I have no idea yet, but you will see it all. So, Friday. Not as much sun in Manchester today. It's a lot fresher, a lot windier. That beard is blowing in the wind, but you know what? I love it. I love coming outside and just taking that time for myself. Meditating, getting into that breathing meditation, the mindfulness. Thinking about what's happened today so far, thinking about what's going to be, what's coming up, and then thinking about nothing. Thinking about nothing in that moment, or trying to not think about anything. I do a lot of my great thinking, my creative thinking, particularly when I'm on my own, and I've got that time to do it. So I schedule time in for me, and that's a real important thing. And it might sound super easy. It might just make sense, like, of course, why don't people do that more often? But invariably, we don't always create that time for ourselves, and it's so important. So if I don't schedule time in for me to take time out from whatever else is going on, to take time in for me, then I don't always function to the best of my ability. So depending on what's going on in my day, that day, having that mindfulness, that headspace to just, reflect or just breathe, sit there and focus on breathing meditation. Just literally let my thoughts do whatever they need to do, whiz around. Yeah, and just take that time out. 10 minutes. 10 minutes is all it takes. And it can take longer than that. And I can do it through different parts of the day. But that thing, that time out to take time in for me is daily practice. It definitely doesn't come natural. So I don't want you to think that things like this are just super easy for me and they just come natural. They don't. It's daily practice, like brushing my beard is daily practice. Brushing my teeth, daily practice. Drinking water, daily practice. All the things that we take for granted that we just do, it's daily practice. So it is daily practice for me to do that. One of the things that I'm not great at, necessarily, or it doesn't come natural to me, is to take that time out. I'm somebody that likes to have things on the go. So I'm very active in my mind. So if I'm not talking to someone, I'm doing something on a laptop, I'm reading a book, I'm engaging in some way. I like to keep myself occupied and I enjoy doing that. But I also enjoy taking time out and doing nothing. taking time to do nothing. But there's so much that's going on in those moments because things settle down. There's no phones, no laptops, no screen time. I'm not engaging with anybody. I'm just sat there with my thoughts and focusing on the breathing meditation. And the objective, the idea behind it, is to really connect with me, with myself in that moment. So that's the objective. And it doesn't always come naturally. Of course it doesn't, because it may be that I'm going somewhere and I just want to take time out and somebody sees me and they'll come and have a chat with me and I like that person. So I'll have a conversation with them. But the practice element of it leans into discipline. So I need to be disciplined. I need to say my time is important. I am important. That's how I speak to myself. My time is valuable. I am valuable. I'm important. So this practice is important to focus on mindfulness, on being myself, on spending time with myself. So I will do this now. I'll take 10 minutes out. 10 minutes seems to do that for me. If I have more time that I choose to schedule to that, then I will do so. But 10 minutes through daily practice suits me. And throughout the course of the day, I might take 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It might be during a lunch break, afternoon break, morning break, evening break, something like that. And I schedule those little bits in so I can make it happen. Okay. Back to the challenge. So March's challenge is progressing. And I'm really getting into these indoor rows. I'd really like somebody to reach out to me that's their thing, that's their niche. So a bit like me with the pull-ups, as I'm known as the pull-up guy, people that do indoor rowing, and it really doesn't matter whether it's on a Concept 2 rower or a Techno Gym rower, whatever it is, or you might be an actual rower on the water with the paddles, doing it in a different way. Genuinely interested in feedback, any hints, tips, breath work, breathing work, the pull-push scenario, any hints or tips, any YouTubers out there that you can recommend, or it could be you, whatever it is. I'm genuinely interested because right now I'm forging my own path, I'm finding my own journey, and I do feel like I'm progressing, and we're going to see the data as it rolls out. So at the end of every row I will show you that I've hit the 5,000 meters. Invariably, by the time I've got the camera and I filmed it, it just goes over, but you get the point. I'm looking to also now focus on that time, try and get that time down. Now that isn't March's challenge, that's just my little mini challenge within a challenge, something that can keep me focused. But I'll keep trying today with the rowing, the things that I've shared with you. So changing my grip so the perspiration doesn't get in the way and affects the hands and the calisthenics, so on and so forth. And I'm going to try that thing where I close my eyes and focus on my breath, focus on my breathing, to see how that impacts my performance from a positive perspective. So the pull-ups are going to be the same, as you know, 7.5 kg weight, but the ring steps, they're going to be 5 kg weight, so I'm doubling up on that. Let's see if that makes an impact. Okay, see you soon. Okay, let's get the first 5 in there together. I always say the first 5 are probably the most challenging because the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, they're not warmed up. So it's probably the most vulnerable spot to be in right now at this moment. But you know what? I like to get this journey kick-started and share that with you on exactly how it is. So yeah, right, first thing is right there. So elbow just feels a little bit strained. Normally it is the left elbow that sort of goes a little bit for me, but it gets easier as I'm going through. It just starts to warm up. I'm enjoying the bar, the straight bar, and it reminds me this is kind of how my pull-up journey started. Doing the straight bar, the straight bar pull-ups, and yeah, it's something that I'm used to. It's something that I love, I enjoy, and I'm just saying goodbye. So see you later, Pete. See you later, and you take care. See ya. Sorry about that. where was I? Right, straight bar dips. No, straight pull-up bar. So the straight pull-up bar, that's how I started my journey. And yeah, I absolutely love it. But over the years, wow, I've used the straight bar. I've used really wide pipes. So I remember when I was training at Total Fitness years ago, they had this rig, and it was like they were like super wide. It was like that wide, and I used to train. My hand was literally on there like that. So I just used to get on the bar, and I used to do the pull-ups like that. That was really niche. I enjoyed that. I've done the angular bar, as you know, with the gymnastic rings, pull-ups. I've not done those in ages. I've not done them in a long time, and listen, they are beautiful. Rings, pull-ups are gorgeous. So if you've got any impairments, like shoulder impairments, hand impairments, joint issues or anything like that, if you want to start out by using rings, pull-ups, honestly it's a different experience, because it will custom itself to you as a person. So when you're pulling up, you'll start off like that when you're doing it, and as you pull up, they'll start to come in. So they'll start to invert. So your grip, you can go on there with the pronated grip, for example, hold on like that. When you pull yourself up, you kind of end up twisting your elbows in, and the rings come round, and then as you come down, if you go like that, it's very enjoyable, and it hits a lot of different muscles at the same time, and it's also quite complex, so it's challenging. And with that, just doing body weight for me is different than doing body weight on a fixed bar. It's a bit like doing the rings dips that I'm doing now versus the fixed bar dips. You've just got that instability with the rings that is working against you, I suppose, which makes it more challenging. So the reason why I'm sharing all this with you is I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying you're doing the gymnastic rings dips. Sorry, you're doing the gymnastic rings dips. Why don't you try doing gymnastic rings pull-ups? So I might consider that for one of my next challenges. I've not done it in so long, and it'd be nice to get back into that flow. But yeah, if you've got access to rings and you've never done rings pull-ups, give it a try. Okay, so common question that I get asked. I've been asked this 3 times this week already by different people. Why do I choose a pronated grip, so hands over the bar like that, but thumbs over? So that's the bar, my finger, and the thumb is over it. Okay, so that's better, I can show you that way, like that. So why do I do it? So if that's the bar, I'm on like that. So not thumbs under, thumbs over. Why do I do that? Pronated grip. You know what? It started off, it was years ago. I remember when I got into bouldering, and I really enjoyed it. But when I was doing the bouldering, I found that I was tearing a lot of calluses on my hands, which were impacting my pull-ups performance, my pull-ups workout. So it was kind of at the time for me, one or the other. But I really do enjoy bouldering, which essentially forms part of the climbing, indoor bouldering, should we say. Really enjoyed it. But when you're grabbing things, you don't have that ability necessarily to hook your thumb under. Not really, sometimes you will get little pinch grips like that, but essentially it's just a case of getting that movement, getting that free flow, a bit like doing what they call, the monkey bars. You don't always have time to get your thumb under, so it was a way of training myself to move quick, to move fast, and in a way it's like focusing, it's like doing the pull-ups on 4 fingers. So the thumb becomes a stabilizer. So if that's the bar there and I'm gripped with it, the thumb, I can move this around so it can help stabilize and correct my alignment where possible. So I'm doing it now, and I was mindful of this at the time, so I made that conscious decision to not go thumbs under. And the other thing is as well is I wanted to try and do pull-ups on different types of apparatus. So like I was saying to you before, like some of the bars at the facilities were like super thick, so you could literally just get on like that, and obviously you can't get your thumb under. There's no way, it's not going to happen. So I was just getting used to like training like that and just feeling that pressure more in the forearms and just keeping the hands locked in. So that's why I train with the 4 fingers, and I use the thumb as a thumb over as a stabilizer, and it helps me. I did the 50,000 pull-ups in 2022 challenge using that. I've done that, I've trained like that years before that, and I used it for the 100,000 pull-ups in 2023 challenge. And you know what? I'm using it all the time, and it's my preferred grip. Is there anything against doing the thumbs under? I ask that. No, there isn't. It's just a different way of training. I find that when I go wider on the bar as well, if my thumbs are under, if I do that, I get strain around here, around the elbows, because it's changing my posture because I'm coming under, so I'm using the thumb. So yet again, that's why I do the thumbs over. So it's more, there's more flexibility, should we say. Try it. You might enjoy it. You might find, I found that when I did supinated, so underhand pull-ups, that helped by transitioning into the pronated grip, thumbs over. In fact, I've just realised that won't make much sense unless I showed you. So let me just pull you up to the bar. Let's just do this. Okay, that is the pronated grip, thumbs over. This becomes a stabilizer. So essentially I can do pull-ups on the 4 fingers, but I use that as a rest. Whenever I was doing supinated under, typically I would put my thumb over the bar. Typically I would, because when I put my thumb behind the bar like that, I get a little bit of strain in the forearm. How do you find that? Does that work for you? How do you do your supinated grip? Do you do thumb over, or do you do thumb over the bar in that essence, in that sense, or do you put it like that? How do you do it, and does it affect you when it's narrower the grip? So left hand there, right hand there, or if you go wider grip, how does that affect? Because that honestly really impacts me. If I go super wide on the supinated grip, that can really impact 100%. I suppose there's no right or wrong way in doing it. I think that's the important thing to bear in mind. All I'm doing is sharing with you what I do, how I do it, and why I do it, and do I enjoy it? And the truth is, yeah, I do. I do enjoy it. I found that when I do my pronated grip, thumbs under, I get a lot more rub around around this area here. So I'll get it on my thumb, on the knuckle part of my thumb, if you will there. Get a lot of dry skin, a lot of rub there. Whereas when I'm going pronated grip over like that, I don't get it as much. Also chalk as well. So the chalk debate. What type of chalk do you use? Do you use any chalk? Are you liquid chalk or are you powdered chalk? Okay, so I've used liquid chalk, and it is super sticky. And let me tell you, if you get it on your clothes or anything like that, you're gonna know about it. It's a nightmare to get out, but it's good stuff. And I suppose it's easy to contain. Technically, it's less messy because you don't get powdered chalk everywhere. But it isn't actually my preference. So my preference is powdered chalk, and as you know, I like to get a little iceberg on the go like this. So this is my current iceberg here. This will last me ages. Like, if I said to you now, I've had that now, I don't know, probably about 3 months, something like that. And in comparison to what it was, it's pretty much been the same. You'll probably be able to see this back retrospectively on older YouTube videos. But yeah, it lasts ages. The reason why I use powdered chalk as well is it just feels easier to apply. It's not as sticky, and for muscle ups in particular, I didn't want that stick when I was doing the muscle ups. I wanted that natural rotation of the grip, and I get that with a powdered chalk, so it's nice and smooth. So when I'm on a smooth bar, it rotates nicely. Just those little micro movements that help with the muscle up in particular. But yeah, preference for me, definitely powdered chalk. I think they're both relatively cheap, but yeah, that's it. So listen, I'm going to get on with the pull-ups. Let me know what your preference is. Are you a powdered chalk person? If so, why? What do you do? What's your discipline? What's your sport? Boulderer, climber, pull-ups. What is your thing? Why do you use it? Powerlifter? Or are you liquid chalk? Why do you use it? How do you use it? What do you think? Interested to know. Let me know. Okay, that is the pull-ups done. Smooth, nice. Still staying on the 7.5 kg. Yeah, excellent session. In fact, you know what, on this point, let me just, I won't get you too near a certain area, but basically what I'm trying to show you here is I've got 3 clips. So one clip goes to the chain there, another clip connects to this part here, and then I've got this secret clip which connects the 2 of them together. Now this clip here, I bought this separate, and the reason for that is if I take this off, just to show you, one sec, watch what happens when I take it off. Okay, this just falls by the wayside, and it puts more emphasis on the lower part of the back. So by getting this additional clip and clipping it, there we go, pulls everything in nice and tight, so it rests superbly like that, and just makes it easier. And if you've got any excess of the chain when you're adding weights yourself or whatever, let me just show you this, hang on. So I used to have it where it just dangled like that, but it'd be irritating because it'd bang on my kneecaps. So all I do is I take it over to the other clip here, I just pop it in so it goes nice and neat like that. I'll show you from a different angle. Hopefully you can see there. And I try not to get the weight, so I try and get it so I can almost incubate it with my legs, because I don't want it swinging around, because remember, any movement like this is going to be momentum. Momentum will either go with me or against me, but invariably it'll probably go against me. It'll bang my legs, it'll hinder my performance, my fluidity, my range of motion, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I want to try and not let that swing around. Okay, onto the rings dips. So something is going to change today. So yeah, this is just me showing you the weights belt, just so you see. So that's the chain with it. I got one clip here, I got another clip there, and I got the secret clip in the back there. So that's it. So I've been doing the 2.5 kg weight, as you know, for the March challenge, but this is what's going to happen today. Changing it up. So I'm going to go for the 5 kilograms. I'm doubling up on the weight. I want to feel that resistance. I want to feel that beautiful energy within my muscles, and I want to feel like I'm owning this session. It's felt a little bit too easy with the 2.5 kg weight. What I'm about to do now is a change in the process. I'm doubling up. It's going to work, or it won't work, but we'll find out. So let's get to it. Okay, remember me telling you now, so I want to try and keep the distance up here nice and tight, because the idea is this, you know, I would probably say it's got to be at least wider than my head, because all that'll happen is, because the rings have that instability, what'll happen is I get on the rings and I've got my shoulders in the way, they'll do this. They will naturally do that. And the reason that that's a good thing is it will give precision, because it'll align naturally with my body, so I can keep my arms nice and tight, nice and close to my body as I perform and execute those rings dips. Here's the problem. If this happens and it goes too wide, for example here, almost wider than maybe my shoulders, for example, then what will happen is this won't do that. It won't naturally move out to align with my body. If anything, it could stay completely still like that, which could mean that my arms will go out slightly wide, and it could create some issues regarding my ligaments, tendons, muscles, and I might not be able to perform and execute that movement, the rings dip, as I can do when it's much narrower. So if it doesn't move at all, that's an issue. So I probably want to move it in a little bit, but there should always be a little bit of a movement, a little bit of a slight movement as this comes out, because it's guiding, gliding, aligning with my body, keeping myself close to my body so I can get it nice and tight, which helps with the rings dips. Okay, it's onto the row. Listen, the rings dips have gone amazing. I'll fill you in on those in a bit. Okay, onto the rowing. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to keep the sleeves on, because I think that they can add value with keeping the blood flow nice and smooth. I'm going to put a little bit of chalk on the mitts. Nothing too much, just a little bit. I've got it on the number 3, which is what I've had it on so far for consistency. I've got that on what's known as the number 10, which will come up on the digital display. Now it's down to me, the input parts. Okay, let's get it filmed, real and raw. Just literally finished now. The rows, heart's beating like a rabbit's nose. Yeah, it's... I've always said, for me, I'm not a big fan of when the heart beats so much we can really feel it pounding out my chest. It's not necessarily a motivator for me, but I think that is because it's synonymous, it's linked to elements of fear or danger. You know, the truth is my brain doesn't know that I'm trying to do 5,000 meters and try and better my time and continually improve my performance. All it knows is that I'm exerting high levels of stress on the body. It's going to be releasing cortisol, adrenaline, and loads of beautiful hormones at the same time. But it doesn't know all of those different bits, so it's acting accordingly. So my heart's beating super, super fast. However, what is going to be interesting, and the logical part of my brain kicks in and says, this is forming part of my continual performance improvement. It's definitely going to do something to my VO2 max, to my respiratory system, 100%. And I do feel good for it. Obviously, I'm super pepped right now. I've literally just finished doing it. So some feedback. So the chalk did help. I don't know how much it helped, but it does feel like it helped. But I couldn't quantify it. I couldn't say, you know, this is what percentage it helped. I don't have enough data on that. The sleeves, having them on the arms, do they help? Well, if you think about it now, I've used them for a couple of days. I might be creating a new habit for myself where I almost believe that I need the sleeves, the compression sleeves, and without them I can't perform how I would normally perform, and that isn't necessarily the case. So I don't know, are they helping me, are they not? I have this thing whereby it's like with the gloves on my hands. I don't wear gloves
It's my choice. I've talked about this in previous videos, but I like to get that connection with the bar. So that's the closest I'm going to get. It's a bit like a barefoot runner. You know, you can get barefoot running shoes, or you can just run barefoot. People feel grounded, better connected to the earth. You know, feeling that grass, feeling that dirt, feeling that concrete underneath their feet. It's the same thing for me when I'm on the bar. So, you know, with the chalk, with the sleeves, are they making a difference? I don't know. If I remove the sleeves, will my skin be able to breathe better? I would have thought so, because no matter how good this fabric is and this technology, surely it can breathe better my skin without anything attached to it, but I don't know. What else for you? Interesting doing the rowing while closing my eyes. Now this was a bit of a game changer, and I focused on my breath, and I realized that what I was doing was, as I'm exhaling on the pull. So that bit when I'm about to, you know, and I'm pulling back and I go, and then I pull. So it's almost a trigger. So I'm here, I've got the bar, I've got the rower there, and as I'm pulling it towards me, I do this big exhale. So, okay. So I talked about this yesterday on the video, but I'm not sure in that moment. It was a little bit after my session, but now I've just literally done it. It's on the pull. I'm doing a big exhale. In order to calm my heart rate down, and to let my brain know that, listen, I'm not in danger, no one's attacking me, I'm not running from anything or anything like that, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. What I do when I'm exerting this is sometimes I smile, just a little smile, because that evokes certain sensations, feelings in the body, and the inner chatter will be, do you know what, I'm really enjoying myself now. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I've got to get to that 5,000. In fact, I want to get there. In fact, I get to get there. Do you know what? This is my choice. I'm loving what I'm doing. That's a sort of inner chatter, the inner talk that I tell myself. When I'm closing my eyes and I'm looking, when I'm closing my eyes, I focus on my breathing. And I just want to regulate and get that motion. So even though I do the big exhale, you know, when I go for the pull, it's like, when I do that big exhale. Sometimes I don't do that, and I don't want to confuse you too much here, but what the purpose is, I want to try and get some triggers. So if this then that, some cues. So if I do the pull, breathe out, and that is predominantly what I'm doing. But if I find that my heart rate's getting a bit too high, or I need to regulate my heart rate a little bit more, then it might be that I do the pull. So pull, exhale, and then I actually almost end up holding my breath ever so slightly. Now that's a bit niche and it's a bit random. It's something that I did today, and it helped me just get that trip and then just reset myself with my breathing. You'd have to experience it for yourself. That's not what I did throughout the process. I did that once, and it just allowed me to reset, find my rhythm, find my flow. But I'd say overall, finding the trigger points. So when I'm going down like that and I do the pull, breathing out, heel, I push from my heel, and then go back, keep my posture nice and aligned, because I don't want to get that irritating thing where I get a sore lower part of my back. So I've got a nice posture. Fortunately, there's some glass here, so I can kind of see my posture, but I've got a good feel on that. I just ever so slightly engage my core, but I'm used to that. I've just done 250 weight pull-ups and 250 weight rings dips, so that's well engaged. What else can I share with you? I'd say the biggest thing that I think is going to improve my performance is if I can stay in that zone of doing the rows whilst my eyes are closed. And the reason for that is it reduces my sensitivity. It's one less sensory. So if you think about it, my eyes aren't getting distracted by people, friends that I know walking past me, wanting to let on, or something like that, something that could potentially distract me. Also, sometimes looking at the numbers isn't always a great thing, because I can process lots of information really highly, really quickly, and I might start, you know, thinking, oh, right, okay, I should be doing this, I've not done that. When I close my eyes and I focus on my breath, I'm then able to get into that rhythm and the flow. So when I do open up my eyes, I'm noticing that my watts are quite high, which is a good thing. But here's the practice that needs to happen. I'm not able yet to stay in that zone where my eyes are completely closed, because if you've ever experienced that sensation where you've plunged underwater really cold water and you've had your eyes closed, feels really weird, you get disorientated, immediately you want to open up your eyes and rush to the surface. It's kind of a little bit like that when my eyes are closed and I'm doing this rowing. I'm conscious that I've got to keep stable. There's lots of different things that I'm focusing on, my breath work, all that sort of stuff. And I think there's that part of the brain that's saying, just have a quick look at your numbers. You know, just see your data, have a quick look there. So I need to create that pattern, create that discipline, and see whether doing the closing of the eyes thing is something that actually improves my performance. But you know what? You're going to be with me on this journey, so I will share everything with you. Okay, what an amazing session. I'm absolutely loving March's challenge. So whatever you're doing, wherever you are in this world, have an absolutely amazing day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. And thank you so much for staying with me on this journey. Drop any comments, ask me anything with regards to what's going on at the moment. Stay on your fitness challenge. Keep going, keep being amazing. I'll see you soon. Take care.